What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up? What's up? Last night after the show, for some reason, I hit stop stream, but it didn't. It went on for like another fucking, I don't know how long. Eventually it went off.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame,
You guys won't believe this, but I got a video of Derek Johnson melting down.
back of the pack, kill it anyway.
So rare to see him get upset and scream and do his thing.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. How's it going, everybody? Yeah. So the narrative now is that Trump had to be convicted because if he wasn't convicted, that wouldn't set the precedent, not president, precedent. I don't think they know the difference, but the precedent that Trump can now use his white hats to go after Obama and Bush's and the Clintons, right? Get it? The problem is the precedent was set when he was indicted. He didn't have to be convicted on all accounts to set a precedent. The precedent was set when he was indicted, right? No other former president has ever been charged with felonies and indicted on felony charges. That's the precedent. The whether he's innocent or guilty, the verdict had nothing to do with it. But you can't explain it to these people. Look at them. They're still running around saying that saying that that Joe Biden received a 21 gun salute. Oh, never can tell with these people. Anyways, Derek Johnson's very fired up about it. Very fired up. He's not yelling at you. He's just speaking very loudly so you know he's excited.
On both pages, 1776 Nation, and also on Rattletrap, 1776 Nation, the backup page. I mean,
if you look at this idiot. If you want to support the show, put on your big put on your largest cowboy hat and a big old smile and go to coldbeer.fund where you can make a contribution to keep the show going if you're interested in it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I sleep like a baby every night. Look at this guy. Did you guys see where Donald Trump got booed and audibly assaulted with rubber chickens at the Libertarian Convention?
this is all you need right now. You need a big old smile on your face. You need a big old
all you need,
baby. Let's go. That's what's taking place right now. Today.
This was literally from today, I think. Yeah, 5:31. Yeah, it was from today.
I was on 2 podcasts. I went to bed at 5 a.m. this morning. I woke up at 9 a.m. I didn't get to watch the flight app too much because I had a podcast at 10:30 a.m. We ended up talking for about an hour before we even went on the podcast. And then I had another podcast at 2 p.m. that ended up being 2.5 hours long. Great. And in the middle of the podcast, you had people commenting what was going on. Now, luckily for that audience was a really great audience. They know what's going on.
They know.
Kudos to them for their faith. All right? And
They know.
I know a lot of people who love to see me get on rants.
It's all a gem. Just wait. He doesn't make it, 3 minutes in before he starts screaming.
Then I also know a lot of people who want me to be cool, calm, and collective. Well, I'm always cool, calm, and collective because my rants are what they call passion. They're what they call, like,
Who sees your videos and is like, this lunatic's full of passion?
like wanting you to be excited about what you're witnessing. And I went out this evening after all that, exhausted, tired. I don't feel good. Got enough liquid here to keep me going because I'm still congested a little bit. But I love this stuff so much, and I love what 1776 Nation,
love it.
1776 Nation, you guys and gals that know your guys and gals that know your patriots. You have made The Midnight Rider obviously a number one bestseller. It has sold thousands and thousands and thousands of copies. My new book is also number one in 3 days. My new book was made number one bestseller
3 days
because of you, all of you.
In country music history and exposés written solely by single white males from the state of Alabama. He's number one in that category, and that's got to be a huge category, guys.
All right. So I get a lot of comments that say stuff like, why are you yelling? And I'm not yelling at you.
Oh, God. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. 2 mints. I spent the afternoon with Jeff today, and he told me to tell you hello. He was drinking out of his fill. No fuck. Oh, great. Thank you. Tell him I said, hey. I'm not yelling. I'm passionate, and you're stupid.
So let's get that straight out the gate. When I get fired up, it's because you should.
I know. Listen, just him saying I'm not yelling sends him down this fucking spiral.
Like, why are you yelling? And I'm not yelling at you. So let's get that straight out the gate. When I get fired up, it's because you should be fired up. It's because you should be telling your friends and your family what's going on right now. All the haters, all the trolls, all the doubters.
I want you to notice something. Even his microphone was like, oh, fuck. Here he goes. His microphone auto-adjusted the gain, and you can hear it. His microphone's like, oh, shit, here he goes. And it lowers his volume. Listen.
Say stuff like, why are you yelling? And I'm not yelling at you. So let's get that straight out the gate. When I get fired up, it's because you should be fired up. It's because you should be telling your friends and your family what's going on.
Did you hear it? His microphone was like, ah, fuck. Let's lower it down about 4 levels of gain.
So let's get that straight out the gate. When I get fired up, it's because you should be fired up. It's because you should be telling your friends and your family what's going on right now. All the haters, all the trolls, all the doubters, all the naysayers, you should be in their face right now. If there was any other time to be cocky and be bold and be all in their face, right now is the time to be in their face.
Go get in their fucking faces. Tell them Trump had to be guilty because we're going after George Bush.
Right now is the time for you to show a spine. Right now is the time. Right now is your time to shine, baby. Right now is your time to show them that you have a spine. Right now is the time to show them you have IQ. Right now is the time to show that this ain't nothing, baby. This is what we wanted.
This is what we wanted. I've got a spine. I've got an IQ, and this is what I wanted.
We want him to be prosecuted. This is exactly what we need. You have to show passion right now. This is exactly what needed to happen in order to prosecute all the other presidents.
Duh. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Do you not listen to the man? So when I do stuff like that.
So when I do stuff like that, I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling with you.
That is for all of you who display your negativity, who display ye of little faith. You, all of you disciples, who Jesus told the disciples, one of you will betray me before the end of the day. Oh no, Jesus. Oh no. And one did.
And one did. One of them did. I can't remember which one, but it was one of them.
Don't be Judas. Don't be that right now. Now's the time to show you're a patriot. If you claim to be a patriot, then freaking act like a patriot. Act like you're an American right now. Act like you're a warrior. There is no fence riding right now. This is no time to be sitting on the fence. And a lot of you have been riding the fence a long time. Oh,
yeah. We're only 4 minutes in. He already gave me a headache. I'm going to take some ibuprofen. I had to wrap this one up early.
You podcasters, all y'all do is weekly. Every week you find a new way to keep it going the next week and the next. It's an operation, and you ain't cut out for it if you can't understand that. You need to quit right now, but when you quit,
it's an operation, and you motherfuckers are hitting the side of the game, and it buzzes you with the tweezers.
stop all your whining, stop all your complaining. Just stop. You have better things to do. If you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. All right? Because right now is no time to be riding a fence. And if you're one of those lukewarm Christians, you're one of those lukewarm patriots, this ain't for you. Quit. But when you quit, do not expect to come back and act like you knew the whole time. Because right now is the time that your faith and your fight is to shine. This is what we needed and wanted in history.
I don't care. I got a headache. I didn't think about Derek Johnson making it worse, but I had a headache when I started. But I thought it'd be all right. Nope.
My question to all the naysayers and all you weak-hearted, weak-spined, no spine, your spine is like a spaghetti noodle. My question to you,
spaghetti spine, motherfuckers,
is why all of a sudden are you trying to act like an American? Where have you been all this time? Where have you been? We're the ones. I didn't just drum this up overnight. I didn't just come up with this overnight. I didn't just start learning the Constitution overnight. I didn't learn the Declaration of Independence. Where have you been? Where have you been, you holier than
He never learned any of these, by the way.
thou, patriots, you holier than thou? Where have you been? Why all of a sudden do you want to act like an American when you ain't acting like one all this time period? When 332 million people get their heads out of their rear ends and realize that we control 535 members of Congress, not what it's been the other way around for all these years? When 332 million people realize that 535 members of Congress have controlled your taxes, your inflation, everything, especially under the corporation, which is clearly defined, the corporation, we went back under the crown.
Clearly defined. He's starting to talk like Trump. Especially when it's clearly defined. It's clearly defined. The corporation, some say it's the most clearly defined corporation ever.
It's clearly defined. Where have you been? So today, all of you who jumped ship and all of you who were sharing all the bullcrap, it's all a facade. If you know laws and order.
Wait. Either it is actually happening and that sets precedent to go after other presidents, or it's a facade, which means that it didn't actually happen. It can't be both.
Hey, all of you who jumped ship and all of you who were sharing all the bullcrap, it's all a facade. If you know laws and orders, you have a foundation to stand on. See, I'm not perfect as a Christian. I say a few wordy words I'm not supposed to say every now and then. When someone pulls out in front of me in traffic and I'm trying to go somewhere and I was perfectly fine doing 60 and a 55 and they want to do 45 and a 55, that's when I want to let them know that my horn clearly works. And
Oh, okay. But judging by this video, you just stay calm all the time. I didn't even know somebody could get a rise out of you.
Sometimes I want to pick. I have to fight the cramps in my fingers, especially the middle finger. I have to hold it back. We're human. We're human. But when you're a Christian, the whole root word of the word Christian is to be like Christ. Well, only way you can be like Christ is to read the Bible, because that's what was left for us to be. That was our.
Wait a second. If the only way to be like Christ is to read the Bible, how is Christ like Christ? Because he didn't have the Bible.
Roadmap. That's our blueprint to be like Christ. And the reason why a lot of you have no faith right now is because you hadn't read the foundation. You hadn't put the foundation in your heart, in your chest, in your spirit.
In your heart, in your chest, in your spirit. Where's it go? I'm so confused. In your heart, in your chest, in your spirit, in your knees, in your toes, connected to your ankle bones.
That's why whenever my great-grandmother was lying on her deathbed.
Oh my God, what a weird fucking story. What a weird fucking story. My great-grandmother's got double dementia, lying on her deathbed. Preacher man comes in, opens the Bible. He knows the verse. He just opens it for show. Starts reading the verse. My great-grandmother ain't spoken 17 years. And she finishes the verse. What a weird fucking story to tell right in the middle here.
Alzheimer's for many years.
We're 8 minutes in. I feel like I've watched a 2-hour video already.
Had not spoken a word for many years. Had not said one single word to anybody. Hadn't said a word to anybody. And one day the preacher stops by. And he was reading a verse, which even though he knew it by heart, he still opened the Bible up. The Lord is my shepherd. And my great-grandmother, who had not spoken a word in so long, Alzheimer's to the umpteenth degree.
To the upteenth degree. To the upteenth degree, he says. It's umpteenth. U-M-P, umpteenth. Upteenth isn't a word.
Shepherd. And my great-grandmother, who had not spoken a word in so long, Alzheimer's to the umpteenth degree. I shall not want. That was her.
That's the last word. She hadn't said a word in umpteenth years. And then the last thing she said right before she died, right there, double dementia. She said, I shall not want. It's in my spirit, it's in my soul, it's in my bones, it's in my foundation on my ankle toes.
Her last words. It was in her heart. It was in her chest. It was in.
Good God, Mighty Joe Young in it over here.
That was her last words.
Look at him.
It was in her heart. It was in her chest. It was in her spirit.
I bet you he bruised himself.
The foundation of this nation.
Derek bruises like a banana because he's built like a banana.
It ain't perfect. Legislation's not perfect. But if it's close enough to perfect, why in the heck are you following drama? Why are you listening to a bunch of blue checks, red checks, mainstream media that ain't showing you the blueprint, the foundation, baby? How can you support a man and you don't even know what he put into place?
Woo! I'm fired up.
How can you support Donald Trump and you don't even know what he put into place? It's biblical, historic, monumental. And you can't unsee it, you can't unread it, and you can't unknow it once you see it and once you read it and once you put it in your chest. You can't unsee and unknow what you...
You know who it reminds me of? You remember, let's see. You remember these movies when they used to be popular? This is who Derek reminds me of when he's not freaking out.
Boy, the guys are going to love this. Am I a genius or what?
Ernest goes to camp. Derek, get him ready. It's in his chest. Get it, Ernest. Ernest P. Worrell. He's always fucking shit up. I used to have to watch those movies when I was a kid.
Your feet in your spirit. This is exactly what we wanted to happen. This is perfect, because if you know anything about what I've been talking about for almost 2 years, August will be 2 years, exactly what we support Donald Trump, and you don't even know what he put into place. How can you support a man and you don't even know what media is close enough to perfect? Why in the heck are you following drama? Why are you listening to a bunch of blue checks, red checks, mainstream media that ain't showing you the blueprint, the foundation, baby?
You apparently didn't get the fucking the special edition Trump Bible, because in my Trump Bible it says Trump comes to save the world.
How can you support a man and you don't even know what he put into place? How can you support Donald Trump and you don't even know what he put into place?
He actually calls him the man with the skin covered in the dust of Cheetos. But still, the reason I thought he looks like Ernest is because look at this picture down here. Hold on. See this picture right here? Doesn't that look like Ernest? The Ernest character. Ernest Goes to Camp, where he's got his hat way pulled down. No wonder he wears a cowboy hat. Look how goddamn goofy he looks in a snapback, a trucker's hat. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
It's biblical, historic, monumental. And you can't
Biblical, historic, and monumental.
unsee it, you can't unread it, and you can't unknow it once you see it and once you read it and once you put it in your chest. You can't unsee and unknow what you feed in your spirit.
How you put knowledge in your chest?
This is exactly what we wanted to happen. This is perfect, because if you know anything about what I've been talking about for almost 2 years, August will be 2 years.
Almost.
Executive Order 13848, election interference.
Okay.
President Trump put that into place 2 months before any election under him, which means the only evidence of election interference they would have had was prior to that date, September the 12th, 2018, which would have meant the 2016 elections all the way back. And it shows, every one of you who jumped ship or you were negative, it shows you have not listened, you have not read a single word.
Makes sense.
Or you read it and you didn't put it right here. So it's disheartening and deflating in a different manner. However, because I know we have cognitive dissonance out there, and we have an Army publication from 2016 that said the Army was going to meet cognitive dissonance because it says they had to have cognitive patience, then that must mean I have to have cognitive patience too, because I took an oath.
Okay.
10 U.S. Code Section 502. And you can't have one oath without the other. That's why it's a disgrace that we have soldiers, active duty soldiers, who are trying to steal a federal trademark.
Oh my God! Not Chuck again. Active duty soldiers trying to steal my federal trademark.
Right? Try to steal a federal trademark. We have a dumb ass soldier who was trying to steal a federal trademark on active duty and claims to support the Constitution.
Oh, weren't you taking him down or getting him fired or get him kicked out or something? Remember, weren't you doing something like that? Never happened, did it?
Claims to support all claims. We have veterans out there that claim to support the Constitution. They know nothing about the Constitution. The Constitution, actually, when you read the Constitution, which most people haven't,
Actually,
the Declaration of Independence says more than the Constitution. Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents, one of the last presidents too, one of the last to use the military in a different kind of way, an extraordinary kind of way. Abraham Lincoln and many others have said specifically, the Declaration is way more important than the Constitution. I hear so many people say the Constitution doesn't say that. I'm like, okay, well, enlighten me what the Constitution says. Go ahead and enlighten me on what the Constitution says, because I'm pretty sure you don't know what the...
I mean, in order of context of like forming a country, the Declaration of Independence is important, but the Constitution has it's what everything's based off of. Every law, everything.
Constitution says itself. So go ahead and enlighten me, because the Constitution is a blueprint that tells Congress what they're supposed to do, what they can and can't do, what the president can and can't do. All the laws that we have in place right now, if every single one of us wanted to abolish them...
The Declaration of Independence declares our independence from England. It's its own country. A list of grievances against the King of England. And the Constitution lays out our entire federal government and all the laws of the land. Like, I would say the Constitution is more important. Once the Declaration of Independence was in place, I guess if you didn't have the independence, you wouldn't have a Constitution, but...
Then guess what?
I don't know what he's arguing here.
You have 2/3 of the states or 2/3 of Congress that put a vote.
Abraham Lincoln was a vampire slayer.
2/3, and if you win 2/3 of the vote to change all of them, guess what? Then it goes to a state legislation. It goes to a state, 3/4 of the vote, and then you change them. So we can change the Constitution. What's been amended since 1787, which it went into enaction. It was written in 1787, but it went into play in 1789. But the original drafting of the Constitution was 1787. Everything that's been added onto it since then, we can go back and change if we want to. That's how stupid and ignorant.
Everything can be changed, not just what's been added on since then.
Some people are, And that's how they look when they say things. But it went into play as legislation. It goes to a state. It says itself. So go ahead and enlighten me. Because the Constitution is a blueprint that tells Congress what they're supposed to do, what they can and can't do, what the president can and can't do. All the laws that
It establishes the law of the land, you fucking retard, and our federal government, and how our government works, how it does it. I don't know what you're arguing here. The Declaration of Independence says, hey, we're independent, we're our own nation, United States of America, and here's some grievances we have with the king, but we're our own sovereign nation now, we're not part of you. The Constitution goes in and lays out everything. I don't understand.
we have in place right now, if every single one of us wanted to abolish them, then guess what we would do? You have 2/3 of the states or 2/3 of Congress that vote, put a vote, 2/3, and if you win 2/3 of the vote to change all of them, guess what? Then it goes
How
to
hard that is.
legislation. It goes to a state, 3/4 of the vote, and then you change them. So we can change the Constitution, what's been amended since 1787, which it went into enaction. It was written in 1787, but it went into play in 1789. But the original drafting of the Constitution was 1787. Everything that's been added onto it since then, we can go back and change if we want to. That's how stupid and ignorant some people are, and that's how they look when they say things. And guess what?
So all he said was someone said that's not in the Constitution. And he said, enlighten me. Tell me what is in the Constitution. Then he went on a tirade about how the Declaration of Independence is more important and that you can change the Constitution by getting, the 2/3 and 3/4 and voting on it, which is incredibly hard. And he's like, that's how stupid people are. What? You didn't say what they did. You just said that you could change it. Yeah?
We have enough people like me. There's enough people like me. There's enough soldiers like me. There's enough veterans. There's enough people in positions that know exactly how it reads. And you have to come through all of us before you're going to abolish and change it and keep misconstruing it and keep butchering it and twisting it and all of that. That's not happening anymore. And there's enough evidence. There's enough evidence daily. When people say, I don't see anything happening, well, you ain't reading. You ain't put what you're supposed to put right here because you're still following drama. You're still following all these people who just want to be news toters. They just want to be a face.
News turders.
You ain't put what you're supposed to put right here because you're still following drama. You're still following all these people who just want to be news toters. They just want to be
News turders.
a face. Click here, click here, click here. Be sure to click down here. Be sure to put the little share button down here. Be sure to subscribe right here. Be sure to come over here when I drop you a crumb every day. Ever since day one, when I went viral in August 24, 2022,
And for the whole world. Worldwide viral.
it was an hour and a half long. My very first video, an hour and a half. I didn't drop any crumbs. I gave everybody in that one video so much stuff that they had. That's why it went viral, because they had to watch it over and over and over again just to write down everything that I was saying to go look up. And when they went and looked it up and realized, holy crap, Batman. It is right there on the .gov and the .mil site. Everything this guy just said is right here. Those are the ones who are the patriots right now. Those are the ones who are feeling, oh, yeah, baby. Woo! President Trump just tweeted just the other day, just a couple days ago, that 2024 November will be our great liberation. It's May the 30th. We have 4 months till November, give or take. However you want to count it, slice it, because November the 5th is on the front of November. So the great liberation is November the 5th. Out of his mouth, I didn't say that. President Trump said that. He has said over and 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 over again that 2024 is our final battle. It will be the most historic election in world history.
Yeah, he said that in 2016 too, bro.
What?
It's anytime you're dealing with Trump, it's the biggest, it's the greatest, it's the most important, the most historic, the biggest crowd you've ever seen, the biggest hands any man could possibly have. He says that every time.
Don't you people listen to him? All of you naysayers and all of you fence riders, how come you don't listen to the man that you claim to support? How does that work? Please enlighten all of us patriots. How does it work that you support a man that you don't even listen to? How does that work? I mean, that baffles me more than anything in the world, that you claim that you support a man, but you don't even know what he says on a daily basis.
God, he's making my head ache so much.
How does that operate? How do you function during the day? When your body says you're hungry, what do? Do you do the opposite of it?
Yes. When my body says it's hungry, I do the opposite of my body.
I want to know how your brain functions that you claim to support a man, but you don't listen to it. So when your stomach growls, do you go to the bathroom? I'm trying to figure this out. When you got to go to the bathroom, is that when you go eat? I mean, how does your brain function?
That's how it works. I'm glad you figured it out.
I'm so tired of this movie. I'm ready for this movie to end. I'm so tired. You ain't even picked up a finger and fought. You ain't done nothing.
Picked up a finger and fought. How you want him to fight? Yell on Rumble?
President Trump and all these world leaders knew that every person in their nations did not have a clue who the invisible enemy is, who the deep state really are, who all the rats are. They took this on. You ain't had to do a thing. All you've had to do is listen to the man when he endorses somebody. You vote for them. He's giving you commands all along the way. I mean, it baffles me.
It doesn't take much.
That we are 7.5 years in the most brilliant, epic, monumental, historical, biblical operation known to man, clearly outlined if you'll go read. You know, they don't just make you a #1 bestseller for nothing. You got to have people.
They literally, it bothers him so. That's why he keeps repeating it and claiming it doesn't. It bothers him so much that he's a #1 bestseller for nothing, because the fucking he's in like congressional historical fucking bullshit, like the category he's in. He's in such a subcategory. It's a joke. Someone on my TikTok claimed that he was a New York Times bestseller.
Who are continuing buying, continuing reading, commenting. It's an algorithm. Everybody who has gone and read this blueprint, and if you can't afford it, there's enough on the documents.info that I pay for, which has only been 2 years now, but still, every 6 months I renew it. I pay for it gladly because it's helping people. You cannot.
He's so sweaty.
Not know what's going on if you don't help yourself. It's no different than people who have, God love them, but people who have addictions or people who have trouble.
God love them.
If they don't want to help themselves, there's sometimes you can do everything in your power to help them. And if they
is this going to be a stream about Nick Recato?
help themselves, there's sometimes that you just cannot help some people. But you try, and you try, and you try, and you try, and you try.
And you try. And over.
So when people say, why would it look like this? If President Trump is still president, then why would it look like this? It's always looked like this.
You cannot prosecute a sitting president.
We have always had tax problems, inflation. If you believe that you have lived 1 ounce, if you're 40 years old and older, which really if you're all alive, it doesn't matter, whoever you are. If you're 15 years old, if you're 18 years old, you have not seen a single time that this nation has flourished like it's supposed to. It's
never.
When President Trump went in, the visual. And so here's what you got to understand. When President Trump walked in, the visualization, the visual 4 years, in order to clean out what's taking place all your life,
why does he keep fanning his shirt?
you have to start somewhere. You have to implement. You have to put into legislation, laws, and orders. They did that. So see, what you're watching right now is the judicial clean out of the judicial branch. You remember that little slogan I always said? It's not a slogan. It's a fact. It's an unfortunate fact. 68% of Americans can't even name the 3 branches of government. But they flip out. They want to go jump the ship today. They want to go, oh my goodness, what are they doing to this man? Oh my gosh, they're putting my man through this trial and they're found him guilty and all this. Can't even name the 3 branches of government.
What's that have to do with his trial?
But they'll put on a hissy fit.
Was his trial who can name the 3 branches of government?
Like you ain't never seen. They'll put on a show like you ain't never seen a 3-year-old toddler put on before. We got grown Americans throwing hissy fits better than 3-year-old toddlers who gets a toy taken away from them. And you'd expect that from a 3-year-old toddler because they don't know any better. But with an adult who can actually read laws and orders, you got a brain, you got
So you should know better than this whole fit you're throwing.
eyes. If you ain't got eyes and you got ears to listen or whatever it is, you have options out there to know what is going on. And you look like you look today. The ones that look like that today. And even the ones who talk about the trials. You never see me share anything about Biden. You never see any of my posts saying Biden did this today because he ain't done nothing. When you read and you understand what a military occupation is, when you go understand and read, if it takes you 10 years, God love you, you're in trouble. But if it takes you a month to figure out what a military occupation is, then that's what you need to do. Figure out what that is, what that entails. How can it be implemented? How can it be invoked? How can it be put into action? Then you go read the continuity of operations, which are clear.
Tertiary. That's one of them for sure.
The operational dates are in the Federal Register. Invoked. It is in action. But you can't know it's in action if you don't understand what puts it in action and what puts it into place. So everybody's watching the 3 branches of government going through a clean-out process. The first process you watched was President Donald John Trump coming in as a presidential role He implemented all these laws and orders in legislative branch. Then everybody fell for the chaos and all the stuff during January.
Wait. Trump's the executive branch, Derek.
Into place. So everybody's watching the three branches of government going through a clean-out process.
Even his executive orders are part of the executive branch. Trump can't do anything, be anything, or put anything into place in the legislative branch. Careful there. You're starting to sound like some of those 68% of Americans.
Process. The first process you watched was President Donald John Trump coming in as a presidential role. He implemented all these laws and orders in legislative branch. Then everybody fell for the chaos and all the stuff during January the 6th, January the 17th, January the 20th. Everybody was falling for all the drama, all the stuff on TV, everything they were watching. Drama. Everybody forgot that little January the 15th, 2021 Federal Continuity Directive publication that came out up under the two canopies. January the 15th, 2021 Federal Continuity Directive publication, Reconstitution of the Executive Branch. How many of you even know what reconstitution means?
I don't think you do.
Bullet point 2.3 of that publication, when a new seat of government cannot be established in Washington, D.C., Congress, with their enumerated powers, will do what? Establish a new seat of government, which means, guess what? D.C. don't even have to be the capital anymore.
D.C.'s has never had to be the capital, right? It wasn't the capital originally, and we just picked it as the capital, but it never had to be the capital. We could have changed that at any point in time, ever.
Wow! Just amazing what it does when you go read and you go look at what's going on. Everybody's watching the drama. Y'all go watch the drama. Isn't there a parable in the Bible? Wasn't there a parable in the Bible where there was a storm going on?
Yeah, it was bitches be tripping, I think's what it was. Bitches be tripping. Here's some fishes and some loaves. I'm not positive on that. A little rusty on the Bible, but you get the point.
And one of the disciples started focusing on the storm. Oh, and he lost track of Jesus, and he started thinking, oh, Lord, save me, save me. That's what y'all look like today. If you jump ship today, and that's what you look like the disciple who took your eyes off of the prize.
Again, bitches be tripping.
Off of God. You took your eyes off of Christ. President Trump is the mouthpiece right now. He's the one that took all the rods, slings, and arrows, hatred, mockery, ridicule, left a billionaire status to take on all this crap. And you don't believe that there's not a plan? You didn't listen to the man on the 2016 campaign trail? Did you not listen to the man on January the 20th, 2017? Where were you? We're taking the power out of Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people. Had the two military guys come down there and stand behind him. Never seen before.
Never seen before, ever.
Ye of little faith. Now you know why Jesus went into the temple and flipped the tables over. All of you weaklings out there and all you little haters and trolls. Woo! I'm telling you what. I'm telling you. Some of you have butchered and twisted. You have misconstrued.
Twisted.
Our Constitution, our foundation, the Bible, we're supposed to look like.
Somebody grab this and loop it and set it to music where he's going back and forth.
And twisted. You have misconstrued.
Right here. Watch. Boom, 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 boom. Jazzercise. Somebody do jazzercise with it.
We're supposed to be this passionate. We're supposed to be like this. This is what loving your nation looks like, and wanting you to love it equally, and not look like an idiot, and look like an idiot on fire, and look like little faith out there to all the people that don't have a clue what's going on. You just went and made them go 100 steps backwards because you went 10 steps backwards.
Oh, man.
Because you have no faith. And you've all been duped your whole life. You've been duped. You've lived your life every 4 years, every 4 years, every 4 years, every 4 years. You made your whole financial decisions every 4 years, every 4 years. Can I buy a house? Can I buy land? Can I buy a truck? Can I buy a boat? Every 4 years, every 4 years, every 4 years. And then when you got people like me and also colleagues of mine who can show you, hey, this ain't no every other 4 years.
I live my life every 37 months at a time. I've also lived my life for family. It's all about family, 1/4 mile at a time. Those are different times in my life, though.
There was a line drawn in the sand. This is a military occupation. Here's the legislation, military laws and orders. Here's the continuity of operation. Here's the federal laws and orders. There was a line drawn in the sand. This ain't no other 4 years. This ain't another 4 years. Oh, no. This is an occupation. This is an operation. It's outlined right here. And when you go listen to the idiots and the naysayers, you keep listening to the drama. That's why you have no faith. It's because you're not feeding your soul.
That's right.
You're not feeding your spirit. You're not feeding your man. You're not feeding manna, the laws and order manna. You're not feeding that.
I need some manna.
You're still watching the drama. You're watching the haters.
Law and orders manna. You need some law and orders manna.
The storm, the wind, the rain, the lightning, the hail.
Fucking
You're putting your mind on the
disgusting.
things that you're not supposed to put your mind on.
You know what's on it? Sweat.
And if you want to look like the guy who walks through the storm cool, calm, collective, walking tall, Clint Eastwood. You want to walk through the storm and
Clint Eastwood was on the boat in the Sea of Galilee? Clint Eastwood. Are you shitting me? I missed that. Was on the boat.
the rain, the lightning, the hail. You're putting your mind on the things that you're not supposed to put your mind on. And if you want to look like the guy who walks through the storm, cool, calm, collective, walking tall, Clint Eastwood, you want to walk through the storm and you want to be confident, you want to be cool, cocked, and ready to roll, you want to be the John Wayne, then you have to feed yourself with the stuff that matters. You have
He was there as John Wayne.
to feed yourself with things that will be wholesome to you.
I don't
that will help
understand.
you be calm, cool, collective. Like my colleague, Major, retired Major, all right, Major, West Point graduate, airborne, Jim O'Connor, 73 years old, just now starting a podcast. He's a
Dementia set in.
bishop now. He tells people all the time when they say, how do I discern who to listen to? Who should I be listening to? The Bible tells you, I did not give you the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and a sound mind. Well, a lot of people today weren't acting with no control. They were not acting with no mind. They showed no control today. All the posts, if a patriot even posted that President Trump was found guilty.
Gypsy Daisy 123 just resubscribed for 21 months.
Thank
I'm
you for
getting my
resubscription.
stuff back in order after losing my debit card and changing my phone hash.
There you go. Phone number.
And I can't believe it.
We're only 30 minutes in, and this video's 4.5 hours.
Even that mild
I'd turn off all the lights.
shows they have no clue what's going on right now. No clue what's going on. Not a clue.
Do you feel lucky, Judas? Do you?
So I'm gonna do a little backtracking because you have to. If this was all about me, which it ain't, but if it was, and I wanted validation, or I needed validation,
I'd write a book or two.
I've gotten validation from President Trump 100 ways to Seattle and back.
100 ways to Seattle and back. Plane, car, horse, camel. I don't even know if there's 100 ways to Seattle and back.
He has validated me in all kinds of speeches, but it depends on what you're listening to. Because we still have majority of Americans who have no clue what's going on. Because a lot of Americans don't want to sacrifice golf, fishing, hunting, hiking, leisure, anything.
Give up your life and yell about Trump on Rumble. It'll be amazing for you. I promise. Don't listen to your cardiologist. It'll be great. Train. Thank you.
To take time to read what their friends have been telling them. Because we have enough patriots at this point in every
Hobo
state
style.
that at least some normal person knows some conspiracy theorist who has been 100% accurate with the laws and orders. And either the patriot's not doing enough to tell their normal friends, or the patriot is doing like I'm doing, trying to absolutely just about shake you, and those people are not listening. And
You're a
every
talker,
single
not a
person
listener.
Claims to want moral decency. Every single person claims to want integrity, honesty, transparency, accountability, responsibility, but their actions prove otherwise.
Jesus Christ.
Everybody wants a 5-star meal with a microwave. Everybody wants a 5-star steak with a microwave. You're not going to get it that way.
Oh,
This ain't no 5-minute talk. All the people out there that tell you, I've heard it. If I've heard it, you've heard it. Get to the point. Can you get to the point? I only have 5 minutes. I don't want to hear it. If it's over 5 minutes, if it's over 10 minutes, I don't want to hear it. Well, that's why you look the way you look. And that's why I can't feel sorry for your paycheck, your 401ks. I can't feel sorry for you if you're going to take that attitude, because your attitude displays that you don't care. So I
okay.
can't feel sorry for you.
You don't make money because you're in a hurry.
Somebody starts pulling their weight. How?
Everybody knows it's the slow people who stop and listen to everybody that has a story to tell that make all the money.
Maintain and sustain what's been put into place. So, when people say, why does it have to look this way? Because we have that cognitive dissonance, and because we have these attitudes out there that we're all facing, then they're going to have to be shook.
Oh my God, Dab, are you back? Sicking Jesus on me? I think Jesus thinks you're a cunt, to be honest with you. He told me that in a God dream.
People out there that love to say Elvis is my grandpa. Well, let's go with old cousin Elvis from the South. What's the song? I'm all shook up, right? Well, we're gonna have to shake some people up in this nation. Some people just gonna have to get shook. Some people just gonna have.
Deb G says, Father, in the name of Jesus, make it stop. Never! Me and Satan run the internet, Deb.
I know the correct term is shaking for all you English people out there, but some people are gonna have to get shook. They're gonna have to be jarred a little bit. And in order for you to not look like you didn't know, because some of you want to know, but you look like you don't know. If you want to know, then you need to be
What was the story about Elvis? Why did he even say that?
Shook. Some people just Elvis from the attitudes out there that we're all facing, then they're gonna have to be shook. You got all the people out there that love to say Elvis is my grandpa. Well,
Who? Yeah, shook not. Who says, where's all these people that says Elvis is their grandpa? Or do they say that Elvis is Derek Johnson's grandpa? Who are these people?
let's go with old cousin Elvis from the South. What's the song? I'm all shook up, right? Well, we're going to have to shake some people up in this nation. Some people just going to have to get shook. Some people just going to have, I know the correct term is shaking for all you English people.
Derek, I'm like a hot soda, okay? You shake me up, I'm liable to bust in your face.
But some
better be careful.
They're going to have to be jarred a little bit. And in order for you to not look like you didn't know, because some of you want to know, but you look like you don't know. If you want to know, then you need to be reading the blueprint that's in place. And that way, when something like today happens, you'll be smiling like me, going, woohoo! Lieutenant Dan, except for not yelling at God, but going,
woohoo! I'm Lieutenant Dan, but I'm the Lieutenant Dan that loves Jesus. I'm like Lieutenant Dan, but I'm like, thank you for taking my legs, Jesus. What are you talking about? He's fucking lost it. He's lost it. I'm Lieutenant Dan that loves Jesus.
When something like today happens, you'll be smiling like me, going, woohoo! Lieutenant Dan, except for not yelling at God, but going, yeah, baby, this is what we want. Executive Order 138.
So, what was the reference to the only reference to Lieutenant Dan is that Lieutenant Dan yells at God for taking his legs and you cheer, but it has no other relevance to it?
48. Guess when it's due up? Guess when Executive Order 13848 is due? September 2024. Why would Joe Biden, if Joe Biden was real, I'll play devil's advocate for the brief moment.
If he was real. If this person you see on the news every day, if he was real.
Don't let liberals slice and dice this video. You know what I'm saying. You know me. I'm going to play devil's advocate that Joe Biden is real right now. If Joe Biden is a real sitting president, and even though I know that this election interference executive order was for more than 2020, we have a lot of patriots that don't realize that either. Election interference executive order 13848 was not just for 2020 election, presidential. It was for every level of elections in our local, state, federal, and tribal governments. Not just here, but all around the world.
I want to see these hand motions again. Please, somebody make a dance video. Here's another clip.
It was not just for 2020 election, presidential. It was for every level of elections in our
make a dance video
federal, and tribal governments. Not just here, but all around the world. So let's play devil's advocate. Joe Biden's real. And let's say there was cheating in the 2020 election. And let's just say that there was not an occupation going on and there wasn't an operation going on. And let's just say you're in a normal 4-year process. Whether there's an occupation and an operation, or whether there is an operation and an occupation, whether there is or there ain't, there was or there wasn't.
I'm Lieutenant Dan.
Executive order.
And Elvis is my uncle.
13848 would make Joe Biden an absolute fool.
And boots and pants and boots and pants.
Put yourself in a neutral situation. Put yourself in a neutral seat and pretend that Joe Biden ain't been blabbing and they making him look senile and all these things. just try to think that Joe Biden still has some little cognitive ability left. Why would Joe Biden extend Executive Order 13848?
You're looking at this completely the wrong way. If Joe Biden is president, if he's a real person, if you believe that he cheated in the election, then why would he extend it? Because he ain't scared of shit. He ain't scared of shit. You can't do nothing to him with 13848. Or all he had to do was not sign the paper.
Which is called election interference. The last time I checked, it was Joe Biden versus Donald John Trump in 2020. So if there was voter fraud, now I know there was, but we're playing devil's advocate here again, because the people out there that panicked today and acted like idiots today, and idiots on fire and acted like non-patriots and acted like they had no clue what's going on, demonstrate.
What all do they act like, Derek?
So if there was voter fraud, now I know there was, but we're playing devil's advocate here again, because the people out there that panicked today and acted like idiots today.
Acted like idiots today.
And idiots on fire.
Idiots on fire. They acted like idiots and idiots on fire.
And acted like non-patriots
and acted like non-patriots. Idiots on fire, non-patriots.
Acted like they have no clue what's going on.
And no clue what's going on. They acted like idiots and non-patriots and idiots on fire, non-patriots on fire, and like they had no clue what's going on. That's the way you were acting today, chat. Idiots on fire.
If we were in a normal situation and we know that they found voter fraud, why would Joe Biden extend an executive order with a national emergency that would absolutely terminate his legacy, if he even had one? But for the people who thinks he has a legacy, if this was a normal situation, and
no, honestly, I got a really bad headache. I'm gonna get at least an hour in, which we're almost at an hour, and I'll probably shut down early. Go home and take a fucking nap.
A normal 4 years, and there was not going to be any prosecutions coming up. There was not going to be anybody going to get Mo. There was not going to be any kind.
There's no way I could do 4.5 hours. Somebody else watch it and clip it if there's anything good in it.
But we're gonna answer this one though. We found voter fraud and Joe Biden cheated. Why would Joe Biden extend the order?
You know, I did not see where exactly Derek Johnson was when I was watching the live video of that guy outside the courthouse saying, "Take me instead! Arrest me!" If I've never seen those people in the same place.
That's gonna
I don't feel good. Fuck you and that movie. I have a headache.
Damn,
Stop telling me no.
His whole administration and bar him from anything if he could even serve. The other thing is this. If all the people out there that thinks Obama's pulling the strings behind us, which if you think Biden is president when there's laws and orders that prove there ain't, he's not. If you think that, you're already too far gone. But if you think that Obama is pulling the strings back there and it would look like this and they would extend every executive order by President Trump.
Can't be Obama doing it.
And not undo everything that man did.
Obama can't be in charge. Trump's in charge.
You're beyond gone. You're worse than what people think Joe Biden is. If you think.
Why did Trump have to wait another 4 years then? Why did he already do it? Why did he come back? Why doesn't he save the day?
Obama's pulling the strings. You
just told us not to worry about every 4 years, every 4 years, every 4 years, every 4 years. But Trump had to do this plan every 4 years.
Beyond gone. And here's how you prove that. If Obama was pulling the strings back here, Obama or whoever would be pulling the strings behind the scenes would be screwing over Joe Biden as well. Why would they make Joe Biden extend Executive Order 13848? That would be entrapment. That would be taking advantage of a senile man and demolishing his legacy if Joe Biden was real and if Joe Biden had any kind of legacy. That would be entrapment in a different manner, and it would be definitely no integrity there whatsoever, and they would be throwing their own under a bus. There's all kinds of ways to slice this pie if you like pie. But the best thing to do is to go over here and go, now look, now I witnessed, all of us, get out of the seat now. No more devil's advocate. Now let's get back in the driver's seat here. Let's go back to having an IQ and having a brain.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and we're not on fire anymore. We're back in the driver's seat. We have a brain. We have an IQ. Nobody's on fire.
Let's go back to having common sense, and let me teach you how to think logically, strategically, and critically. Now let's go back to history. Because why do we always say history repeats itself? Because we don't want it to repeat itself sometimes. So in order to not repeat some of the bad things in history, what do we have to do? We have to study history. We have to learn from history. And we have to make sure when we study and we learn, we don't do what? We don't let someone else come in here that don't know how to study and learn, replicate the history that we're studying and learning to not replicate.
Okay.
See how that works?
Non-replicators.
Let's go back to World War II. If I was a kind that wanted validation everywhere, President Trump has validated me from Tulsa and back multiple times. Just last week at the NRA speech, what did President Trump say? He said stuff that only I talk about. I ain't seen anybody else out there talking about it. I talk about World War II all the time and how we're in a World War II history repeat. Go look at all my posts all the way back. World War II history repeat. First and Second War Powers Act of 41 and 42. Those were amended and made to the War Powers Act of 73, the War Powers Resolution, also known as. That's Title 50. That's the War and National Defense. Go back to 1941. Go back to 1942. I show you every day we have foreign aircraft, tiny foreign aircraft, all kinds of foreign aircraft on municipal, county, and regional airports. No military components attached.
Okay.
That is a no
Incoming Donald clip.
Holy shit. Yaller Nuts is back. Look out. That scared me, but thank you.
They're under order.
It's been so long since we had one.
Because they're in their aircraft. It's a military occupation. Land and naval use. See, the Second War Powers Act was not a follow-up to the first one. It was actually called the Second War Powers Act for a reason. Land and naval usage. Our military can seize federal government property. Airports. That's what's been taking place. All these foreign aircraft are on National Guard bases, municipal, county, and regional airports in the middle of nowhere in Podunk, USA. That wouldn't happen. All right. So when you look at 1941, then you go up to 1961, the military.
Let's see here. Can I play it?
Hi, I'm Derek, and here's my new song. I'm stuck on crack, I can't get out, 'cause I was shook as a little baby.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yaller Nuts. Shook as a little baby. Thank you for that rendition. I appreciate it. Let's hear it again.
Hi, I'm Derek, and here's my new song. I'm stuck on crack, I can't get out, 'cause I was shook as a little baby.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Shook as a little baby. Makes sense to me.
Military industrial complex speech. Eisenhower, a rare 5-star general. We've had 8 5-star generals in our history. We've had 4 5-star admirals. That's it. 8. 3 of those were during the Civil War era, and the other 5 were right up to the 50s. Eisenhower was a 5-star general. 5-star general, and he was president. He warned about a military-industrial complex. We've all been living under this. Every war that we've been in, every war, it's been a federal corporation war. We shouldn't have been there. Federal corporation, established 1871 and 1878. You have to know this stuff. When President Trump says we have it all, we've caught them all, we're going to return every child to their home, how are people not listening to that? Do you think he's just blowing smoke? Would you really think a man would make a mockery out of a child? Are you serious right now? Do you really think he'd make a mockery out of a child like that? Are you serious right now? Do you not know what our soldiers are fighting right now? Do you not know what our men and women are doing in the tunnels and the sewers all across the world right now? Do you not know what those men and women have seen? Do you not know what those men and women are going to be thinking about the rest of their life? The PTSD that they're going to have to live with the rest of their life? Do you not understand the implications of what is actually in laws and orders and publications that you can tangibly go look up and read right now and seek to understand and seek to have some compassion and seek to have some ability to hold your composure during a time like today, which was one little notch in the belt. One little bitty tiny notch in the belt. I'm gonna do a rundown again. June 12, 2015, President Trump rolls down the escalator to announce his candidacy. From the get-go, he showed you from the get-go the picture that was all over mainstream media, on the scroll, on the trademark scroll, on the tray, the stock market, right up here, gold. From the get-go, the very first picture, all over mainstream media, had an optic in it for you, gold.
Gold.
Over 42 states. Right
always gold.
Taxes on gold and silver. Where
like when it's hair, gold.
are you, patriots? I don't see anything happening. Just this week, President Trump with the libertarians. I will protect Bitcoin and crypto. Oh, we were just conspiracy theorists just a few weeks ago to all the naysayers and the haters and the trolls out there. And President Trump, just every day, he's slicing and dicing everybody that wants to be a...
Trump got booed. Hold on. Let's do this. Trump booed Libertarians. Trump was booed badly by the libertarians and repeatedly by the libertarians. What a great reception. They try to tell him they couldn't boo. And the background of his speech says, become ungovernable. And you're going to come out like the one thing libertarians hate are rules. And you're like, here's a rule. Don't boo him.
There has never been a group of people treated so harshly or well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things. So if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now.
A libertarian. I'm a libertarian now. Gonna live in Libertaria.
And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with
Ross Ulrich. That's one thing they cheered about. Ross Ulrich was the guy that did the Silk Road thing and then tried to hire a hitman and all that shit. He basically used the deep web to connect drug dealers and drug buyers.
me. I don't do that.
I don't do that. You could call me citizen number one, a libertaria, because I'm now a libertarian.
And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with me. I don't do that.
By the way, while we're talking about Libert, check out these photos. Check out these photos. Hold on just a second. Libert. These are Liberty Warrior released new AI photos of himself. Just enjoy this right here for a moment. Okay? This is Liberty Warrior. Looks just like him. I can't even tell a difference. Here's the other one. At least this one looks more like him, I guess. There he is. I don't know why it turned his pinky into wood grain. I don't know what's going on there. That's the eye of Illuminati or some shit. I don't know what happened. It's pretty good. I'm a libertarian.
And naysayer, if you want to continue showing your public dissonance, if you want to keep putting big giant red X on your head, I don't see anything happening. I'm so ready for this to be over. It ain't ever going to be over. America, as long as God gives us this planet and we're living, breathing, walking here, it's not ever going to be over. We always have to fight. But what they're doing is cleaning it out where we can have it back, and then we can maintain and sustain that. With your attitude like that, if you have that attitude, you ain't going to be nowhere near it, and we're going to make sure of it. So if you want to be a part of it, you need to change your attitude. You need to change how you think. You need to change and flip your mindset. You need to change and flip your script. You need to start acting like a patriot, acting like a warrior, and acting like an American. That's how you do that. And you have enough evidence to feed your soul. Once again, there's enough evidence. Everybody who's read the blueprint, as I call it, the blueprint, the Midnight Rider, or the documents, everybody who's read and studied, I'm telling you, I know so many people. I see them all across America. I'll be on the road this week. Next week. I'll be in Texas, Austin, Texas, out there. I mean, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne, she reads, she studies, she's so excited. I mean, look at all the people who've come on board. Look at all the people getting involved who are awake. They know what's going on. They're passionate. They're patriots. Look at it. I'll be in Arizona the following, like it's next week sometime, but only into the next week. Arizona. I'm going all across the nation. There's so many people who have read the book. They've read the laws and orders. They've gone and studied. And they've even found stuff of their own. It's a lot of information. And they put it together. And they're like, man, this is so epic. This is brilliant. This is so monumental. It's so historical. It's so biblical. Wherever you stand, I mean, it's like all these words. President Trump from the get-go. 4 days later, the Law of War Manual was put out. Reissued. 4 days after President Trump rolls down the escalator. Fast forward. February 2016 is when President Trump started talking about Guantanamo Bay. We're going to load Guantanamo Bay up with a lot of bad dudes. He also quoted tens of thousands. That's why you got to pay attention.
Tens of thousands. Remember it?
The follow me are females because they pay attention to details, guys. They listen. They pay attention to details.
Females follow me because they pay attention, right? That's why.
Every little word matters. Every punctuation matters. The comma, the dash, everything matters. Everything matters. Tens of thousands, double plural. He said it. I didn't say it. Everything that I repeat, Donald Trump has said or put into law or put into orders, put into action. Everything. April 2016, Special Operations Command from the Army. Special Operations put out, matter of fact, I'm going to try to pull it up real quick while I'm sitting here. April 2016, Special Operations Command. Let me see if I can find that. There it is right there. Unconventional Warfare Pocket Guide. Wow, that means you can put it in your pocket. Remember that old song, that old lock it in my pocket or something like that? You can lock it in your pocket, put it around like a little pocket rocket, right? All right, here on page 11 is a guide. I've been talking about it. And it's got this pyramid. And it's not a pyramid scheme like all of us used to run from when your buddies got these pyramid schemes and they used to call you and say, hey, man, I got this great opportunity if you want to know about it. Once you learn that your buddy was in a pyramid scheme, you block, thank God for caller ID, because you were like, I ain't answering that because I know what they want. They don't got in that pyramid a little bit deeper, and I ain't getting in that pyramid scheme. But this pyramid right here is one of the best pyramids you can look at. On page 11, it's called the Unconventional Warfare Pocket Guide, final, April the 6th, 2016. And it says specifically this. Public component activities, a color. One color says armed component activities, and one component says underground activities. Wow. And then it says overt, and then it says clandestine. So you have overt operation, and then you have a clandestine operation. And it's got this beautiful thing: negotiated settlement, international strategic communications, large-scale military and paramilitary actions, minor military and paramilitary actions, shadow governance activities on both sides. That's where the line goes through for overt and clandestine. Increased political violence, terror, and sabotage, negotiations with government representatives. You got to go read this stuff. It's the most brilliant pyramid you can look at. Unconventional warfare. That's April 20.
Okay.
May 2016.
Unconventional warfare. Is that where we're at now?
May 2016.
Got to be.
Why, of all times, was the United States Supreme Court coming together to rule that military courts' laws and orders are separate from federal courts' laws and orders? Why, of all times? Who was the president? It wasn't 45 yet. It was 44. What is the United States Supreme Court doing separating military laws, courts, and orders from federal laws, courts, and orders? Setting the precedents. It also tells you that what? It tells you in the first, I'm going to read it for you. Let me pull that up. This one's fun too. When you read this one, Military Justice Act. Now watch this. First paragraph. Watch this. The Supreme Court has called the military justice a system of justice separate from jurisprudence in civilian courts. Members of the armed forces are subject to rules, orders, proceedings, and consequences different from the rights and obligations of their civilian counterparts. Accordingly, it might be said that discipline is as important as liberty, interest in the military justice system. The Constitution specifically exempts military members accused of crime from the Fifth Amendment right to a grand jury indictment, from which the Supreme Court has inferred there is no right to a civil jury in a courts-martial. Woo, woo! You got to read. I say it all the time. You got to read. You got to read. You got to read. Fast forward, November 2016. Remember all the videos? Remember all the TV shows? Remember everybody? Donald Trump will never be president. Never, 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 never. Not 1%, not 2%. Every single liberal organization, liberal everything, and even Rhino Republicans, Donald Trump will never be president. Ooh, I'd hate to be on record saying that. Remember Obama reading the tweet, had the phone up on one of those late night shows? He was reading tweets off, and when President Trump tweeted that he said that Obama would go down in history as the worst president in history, he goes, well, at real Donald J. Trump, at least I will go down as a president, and drops the phone. And you people are freaking about today. You people jump ship today, and you don't remember what has transpired from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Are you serious right now? December 2016. Well, I'm going to go back. Let's go back real quick. I'm going to say it again. I'm the one that put the picture up. I remember that night. I took the picture at 4:56 a.m., actually in the morning, 4:56 a.m. Central Standard Time. I took the picture of President Trump and President Putin side by side, ready for reset. Ladies, where you at, females? Here we go again. Let's school all the guys out there that need to be schooled. Why was reset in single quotations? Why did they put single quotations around the word reset? Ready for reset. Single quotations. Putting an emphasis on the word reset. What are they talking about? Reset. December 2016, there was already a law called the Magnitsky Act. There was already an act called the Magnitsky Act. President Obama said anytime it hit his desk, he would not look at it. That tells you that right there. 2016, they passed the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act. Why do we need another act that's actually still called the Magnitsky Act when there's an act back here called Magnitsky Act?
Sorry, I was typing out a message. I missed half of what he said. It's much easier to ignore.
Why would Biden extend Executive Order 13818 that in the very first paragraph invokes the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act for Russia?
Oh my goodness.
If the Russians are bad, and if the Russians are invading Ukraine, and Biden's over here trying to make y'all think that they're funding Ukraine, then why the heck is he extending an executive order that has an act in there that's for a Russian? That shows he was reading tweets off, and when President Trump tweeted that he said that Obama would go down in history as the worst president in history, he goes, well, at real Donald J. Trump, at least I will go down as a president, and drops the phone.
Yeah, that was back before he thought he would win.
And you people are freaking about today. You people jump ship today, and you don't remember what has transpired from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Are you serious right now? December 2016. Well, I'm going to go back. Let's go back real quick. I'm going to say it again. I'm the one that put the picture up. I remember that night. I took the picture at 4:56 a.m., actually in the morning, 4:56 a.m. Central Standard Time. I took the picture of President Trump and President Putin side by side, ready for reset. Ladies, where you at, females? Here we go again. Let's school all the guys out there.
All the women remember everything that's ever been said ever.
Need to be schooled. Why was reset in single quotations? Why did they put single quotations around the word reset?
Ladies.
Ready for reset. Single quotations. Putting an emphasis on the word reset. What are they talking about? Reset. December 2016, there was already a law called the Magnitsky Act.
So when he said, well, at least I'll go down as being a president, that was when Trump was still running, and he was saying, you'll never win, basically. Now, he did win and stuck it to Obama for that joke, right? But that was the joke, right? He said, well, at least I'll go down as the president is you will never win. He did win. I agree. Trump won in 2016, but that wasn't the joke.
There was already an act called the Magnitsky Act. President Obama said anytime it hit his desk, he would not look at it. That tells you that right there. 2016, they passed the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act. Why do we need another act that's actually still called the Magnitsky Act when there's an act back here called Magnitsky Act? The Global Magnitsky Accountability Act is for a Russian. Oh, so why would Biden extend Executive Order 13818 that in the very first paragraph invokes the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act for Russians? If the Russians are bad, and if the Russians are invading Ukraine, and Biden's over here trying to make y'all think that they're funding Ukraine, then why in the heck is he extending an executive order that has an act in there that's for a Russian that's actually for good causes? It's because people don't read. It's because when you read...
13848 doesn't have the Global Magnitsky Act in it. The one that has the Global Magnitsky Act is the, hold on, is the one on human trafficking. $818. Okay, I thought he said 848. He said 818. So it is 818. Damn, they gotta change these numbers. Maybe he said, I should give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably said 818. Not 848. So it doesn't have anything to do with election interference, though. It's the one about human rights abuse, dictator, shit like that.
You don't even know what you're reading. You don't comprehend what you're reading, or you don't take time to study and put this together. Executive order that has a, here we go again. Let's school all the guys out there that need to be schooled. Why was reset in single quotations? Why did they put single quotations around the word reset? Ready for reset. Single quotations. Putting an emphasis on the word reset. What are they talking about? Reset. December 2016, there was already a law called the Magnitsky Act. There was already an act called the Magnitsky Act. President Obama said anytime it hit his desk, he would not look at it. That tells you that right there. 2016, they passed the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act. Why do we need another act that's actually still called the Magnitsky Act when there's an act back here called Magnitsky Act? The Global Magnitsky Accountability Act is for a Russian. Oh, so why would Biden extend Executive Order 13818 that in the very first paragraph invokes the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act for Russians? If the Russians are bad and if the Russians are invading Ukraine and Biden's over here trying to make y'all think that they're funding Ukraine, then why in the heck is he extending an executive order that has an act in there that's for a Russian that's actually for good causes? It's because people don't read. It's because when you read, you don't even know what you're reading. You don't comprehend what you're reading, or you don't take time to study and put this together like a puzzle. So it just proves some of you don't like puzzles. Well, if you don't like puzzles, then you either need to take someone for the word that loves puzzles and said, I put the puzzle together a million times over and over like the back of my eyelids, and then as things keep showing on the news that keeps dropping like dominoes, that keeps validating me every single day, every single week, every single month.
Oh God!
Every single day.
This is all back from the Magnitsky Act. Is from Sergei Magnitsky. He basically died in prison for investigating Russian tax fraud. He spent, I don't know how long in prison, but he was investigating Russian tax fraud. He was accused of committing fraud himself by the Russian government. And when he was in prison, he got really sick. He got like something to do with his gallbladder. He got pancreatitis. A bunch of other fucking diseases and shit. He was not given medical treatment. It was an inhuman, it was a cruel and inhuman type of treatment. Finally, I think they may have beat him to death and then claimed he just died, but word got out that he was beaten to death. But that's what the law's named after, right? The law was to punish Russian officials who were thought to be responsible for the death of the Magnitsky rule of law accountability was the first law. And it was to publish any Russians that may have been responsible for his death. They're not allowed in the U.S. anymore. Now, when they do the Global Magnitsky Act, they wanted the whole world to do that. When they do the Global Magnitsky Act, it's just referenced in 818. It says, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. So it's just named after him. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952 and Section 301 of Title III United States Code. I, Donald Trump, find the prevalence of severity of human rights abuse. So it's all about human rights abuse.
Single week, every single month. Then you start going, wow, man, that Derek, he is 100 for 100 right now. Because why? I never give you predictions. I never talk about, on this date, we'll out here in June the 5th. Y'all get ready for it. I never use dates. I don't use predictions. I show you by laws and orders what's in place. And as things come out, like today, then I say, hey, no need to fear, ye a little faith.
Don't ye a little faith. Don't fear. I'm like Lieutenant Dan, but I love God.
Let me show you why you should be smiling, why you should be grinning, why you should be rooting on, why you should be excited.
You think the Lieutenant Dan comment was a shot at me? Because he thinks I ain't got no legs.
Why you should be happy? Why you should be jumping up and down with joy? Because we're getting closer to the final battle. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
What do you say? What does he say in the final battle is that Trump gets reelected for a third term, according to him?
December 2016, President Trump started hammering Boeing. That's when he started hammering Boeing way back then. He said we may or may not can make a deal with Boeing.
By the way, I made the dumbest TikTok. I'm honestly thinking about changing the channel up and doing a show called I've been trying to name it like the Patriot Power Hour or Power Hour Patriot or something like that, and doing about an hour-long show with clips that I go ahead and pick and edit out. And you guys remember the Colbert Report? Like, Colbert is not a Republican. Stephen Colbert, he's not a Republican. But basically, he was so over-the-top Republican, it was funny. I'm thinking about doing that, but with, like, the Trump-tards and Q-tards and people. So being so over-the-top, like Q, Trump-supporting, that it's funny, and everybody will know it's an inside joke, but some people will be fooled by it because they're idiots. They follow Derek Johnson shit. So just today, when I was thinking about that, I made a video. Let me see if I can go find it. I made a video called, here's the video I made. And it's already got 200 some views, and people are already commenting on it, agreeing with me. It seems the president has set precedent that we can go after other presidents. And I put Obama is next. The president has set precedent that we can go after other presidents, because that's what they're saying, right? It seems the president has set precedent that we can go after other presidents. If you don't see what's happening, I can't understand it I can't learn it for you. It seems the president, which I thought people would know was funny, but here's the comments I got. Good. Bush Jr. needs to go to jail too. Then someone says, all the corrupt politicians need to go to Gitmo. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. If they are corrupt, they need to go. Then someone else says, let's do it now. Bush first. Someone said, good looping. Then someone else says, the Supreme Court will grant presidential immunity to prevent going after Biden, I bet. And then someone else put a bunch of crying emojis and a bunch of praying hands. So even my joke went right over their heads. Like immediately. They didn't check any of my other videos. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I cover. Immediately, they're like, hell yeah, let's get them motherfuckers. Me and you, cold beer. We'll go get them. What the fuck? So I'm thinking maybe a Patriot Power Hour show where we'll all be on the inside of it and laugh and have fun. And it'll be like so over the top Republican, obviously, or like Trump supporting. Like, I'm probably just going to blame everything on a fake government, the deep state, and illegal immigrants. We'll be in on the joke, but they will be probably convinced that it's all good.
We'll see, right? Well, we see what happened with Bowen. Are you seeing what's happening with Bowen right now? I think Bowen is doing a little thing called losing their rear end right now. All right? Do you see? I mean, come on, people.
We did it before with Nick Swick, but it's a Patreon only thing. But I think we can open up to everything else. And I'll go ahead and pull my clips out so I know what I'm going to make jokes about. And we'll do like an hour of it and then shut it down. And the rest of the time, because the shows will be shorter, the rest of the time we'll be in comments fucking with people.
It's every day. Way back here in December 2016, he started hammering Bowen. He said we will have a new Air Force One.
Bug dude, that's a weird way to spell juice. But yeah, I'll blame him.
We'll have a new everything. All right. We're going to keep going here. January 2017, January 17th, Federal Continuity Directive 1. There's your first one that came out. Bullet point 3 says, you start with this one. People say, how do I know to start with that one?
Okay, start with this one.
And continuity of government plans. It tells you on bullet point 3 that this supersedes anything before it. That means you start with this one. January 17th, 3 days before President Trump took office. This comes out. January the 20th, the famous oath. We're taking the power out of D.C. We're giving it back to you, the people. The 2 military officers come behind him. They have.
Oh, maybe you meant something else. Maybe you meant geese. I'm sorry. I just logically that's where I went with it. My bad.
So right here, military intelligence, judge, advocate, generals. Who gathers evidence in the military? Military intelligence. Who judges it in a courtroom? A courts martial, a military tribunal.
Wrong. Civilians do not go to military any fucking thing. It's not happening.
This comes out. January the 20th. The famous oath. We're taking the power out of D.C. We're giving it back to you, the people. The 2 military officers come behind him. They have headbands on right here. Military intelligence, judge, advocate, generals. Who gathers evidence in the military? Military intelligence. Who judges it in a courtroom? A courts martial, a military tribunal.
No, not for civilians. It just doesn't happen. One of the things I don't think people got the other day when I played that Congress clip, I had to explain this to Mariah the other day, which I don't think she actually saw the show. But one of the things they didn't get is the other day in Congress, something just reminded me of this. The other day in Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of her friends were going after somebody's daughter because she was a stripper or a porn star or a dancer or something. And the black girl said, I don't even remember who she was. She's describing Marjorie Taylor Greene. When they make a rule, they're not going to attack anybody's personal opinion. They're not going to attack anybody's personal opinion. She says, so just for rule clarification, if I say a bleach blonde, bad built body bitch, she was describing Marjorie Taylor Greene, but without doing it. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if me and Derek were in a debate and he said something about me being fat, and they're like, hey, we're not going to attack appearance. And I said, so, just to clarify the rule, if I'm talking about somebody that looks like Woody from Toy Story, like I can't. That's why it was funny. I guess I didn't explain it well when we showed it when they were all fighting and shit, but it was pretty funny.
Judge, advocate.
Now people are seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene out in public and calling her a bleach blonde, bad built body bitch.
Generals. Then, when you fast forward, when we get over here, keep this in mind, hang this in mind. When you get over here to December 20th, 2019, when the court's martial handbook was changed, when I get there to that date, remember this. Remember those two standing there, and remember why that was prevalent, because something happened on that day.
Remember it. Remember it.
Say it, just in case I forget it over there. The court's martial handbook was amended, and it put the sole decision back in the hands of the judge advocate general.
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody, when that judge advocate makes a decision, when that general makes a decision, game over. Game over. March 2017, President Trump goes after the opioid crisis straight out the gate with an executive order. Goes directly for opioids, which does what? Goes after pharmaceutical companies. That's when that started. June 2017, Federal Continuity Directive 2, June 13, 2017. Bullet point 3. It went ahead, even though Federal Continuity Directive 1 says to start with this one on January 17th, they went ahead and put bullet point 3 on this one. You start with this one here. There's your two canopies. There's your two. Continuity of operation.
Two canopies.
Three branches of government, their national...
Like having two umbrellas.
Outlines what their national central functions are to do. They have, long list of things they're supposed to do. All right? That's how you know to start with that. Those are your two canopies. In the Federal Register, how do you know they've been invoked? Because in the Federal Register, where executive orders are, where proclamations are by the president, the Federal Register tells you they've been invoked. It says FCD1, when you go look it up, I got the link. FCD1 2018 to 2022, FCD2 2020 to 2024. What year are we in right now? What President Trump say about November, that it will be the final battle? And what's this invocation date say on Federal Continuity Directive 2?
But what do you guys think the final battle will be? Like he's just going to win the election?
The implementation phase of the continuity of operations, it says that, this is from 2020 to 2024. So it ends in 2024. What year are we in right now? December 2017. President Trump's first executive order with a national emergency, he goes after trafficking, all trafficking, human rights abuse, which is where the Global Magnitsky Accountability Act was invoked in the first paragraph, the National Emergencies Act, the National Economic Emergencies Act, and the International. And you have all kinds of acts that were, you got to go read it. The Immigration Act, everything. All these acts were invoked then. National emergency, human rights abuse, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking. It's all outlined. Also, in December 2017, the National Security Strategy came out. Now think about this. I'm going to bring up a point later. Hang tight. The first year of President Trump, every first year of a president, a national security strategy comes out. There's a national security strategy came out December 2017.
I saw her bikini picture on Twitter. She says, today I turned 50. Many people go on their 50th birthday thinking it's a bad thing, but I truly felt it's wonderful. I'm so excited and grateful God let me live 50 years to do so many things. From being the first person to graduate college in my family, to carrying 3 babies in my womb, and the absolute miracle of 3 childbirths, to raising my children and teaching them about God's creation and man's dangers, to running successful business and carrying the weight of the responsibility, being a member of Congress, running, cycling, swimming, competing, training, reading, always learning, creating, building, skiing, surfing, hiking, making mistakes, learning lessons, and most importantly, God's grace that I don't deserve, but I'm thankful for beyond words. My 50 years have been an incredible journey that I'm thrilled to be on, and God willing, I'll passionately continue each step following him wherever the road leads. And then this is her image that she posted for her 50th birthday. I mean, I guess she's got a decent body. Her face looks rough as fuck, dude. It looks like they replaced her face with a pinky toe. What is going on there? Let's see if we can zoom in on that bit. Okay, let's zoom back out. I didn't mean for the jump scare. Her face is looking like she could pass as like a man for sure. Like if you just saw this, hell, that's Keith Urban. Right? Country music legend Keith Urban. It's a pool / ocean, I guess. 1, 2, 3. AI is really bad with fingers and toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 of each. That toes looks a little funny there. Big toes a little short. Her hands look all right if it was like AI photo. Might be touched up. I don't know. That almost looks like it's like tile right there, but then we get like a live edge over here. I don't know if that's a pool or what. I'm assuming it has to be a pool, right? Just to make it look natural. Keith Taylor Green. That's right. Taylor Keith, everybody. I thought he passed away. I'm not as good as I once was.
And it outlines pandemics, biochemical threats to you got to go read it. If you read it, if you've reading it for the first time, you'd have thought that it was written after COVID, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was before.
January
it was different. It was left. It was right. Who knows?
Revoked Obama's executive order to shut down Guantanamo Bay, and he put into place on January 30, 2018, Executive Order 13823, which kept Guantanamo Bay open.
Yeah, here she is, looking full Keith Urban. Why are her eyes so close together? That's what bothers me. Her eyes are set on her face like a rat. There's barely room for her nose bridge. Any closer and she'd have been looking like this because her eyes would have been on the side of her nose. She got something going on there.
Biden has campaigned. He campaigned in 2020. He's going to shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. February and September 2021, mainstream articles. They're going to shut it down. They're going to shut it down. Pen and paper. Pen and paper. Why hasn't he shut it down? It don't mean that Congress would do it. That's not the point. Why can't he take a pen and a paper?
It does exactly mean that. Oftentimes, presidents do not do executive orders because they've already talked to Congress, and Congress is like, hell, we'll strike that down. That's our thing, right? We'll have the Supreme Court. We're going to fight that, blah, blah, blah. So you'd rather have a something in place that everybody contributes to.
And revoke Executive Order 13823. When you see what they've shown Biden to do on paper, and you know the operation, and you know all this in the chronological order, then you'll see he hasn't done anything that's undone anything by President Trump, except what they wanted you to see, like with the border policy. That's on purpose, because you should care about that. Everything else has not been undone. June 2018, that's when the military started leaking to us, all of us veterans. Y'all probably would have never known about military.com and some of our military publications, which is fine. They started telling the veterans first what was coming. June 24, 2018, military.com. The article's still there. Go to Google, Bing, whatever you use, pull it up. It's still there. The Army spending $500 million training our soldiers for our next wars will be in megacities, not inside them, but beneath them. What is this right here? This April 2016 unconventional warfare talk about? Tunnels, sewers, underground operations. What is that term? Subterranean warfare. Well, I'm just telling you what is in laws and orders and publications. September the 12th, 2018. September the 12th, 2018, Executive Order 13848 that we've already talked about. Inside that order, this is why I'm so passionate about it. Inside that order, there's a line in there. And if you'll learn to skim over stuff, once you learn to learn definitions and terms and things that matter, then you don't have to read some of the rest of it. There's one line in there that gives you everything you need to know what happened today. Although no foreign power has altered the outcome or vote tabulation in any United States election. That's the only line you need to hear in that whole executive order, and the fact that it's an executive order with a national emergency. That's it. Although no foreign power, although nada, although zilch, although no foreign power, zero foreign power, nada foreign power, although zilch foreign power. How many times you got?
Okay.
Although no foreign power has altered the outcome, or that little conjunction, that two-letter conjunction, or vote tabulation in not 1, not 5, not 10, in any United States election. That was signed 2 months before any election under President Donald John Trump.
Oh my God.
The elections under President under him as the president, as the sitting president, the visual sitting president, was 2018 and 2020. It had nothing to do with 2020 alone. Every patriot, you need to drill that in your head. I'm sick and tired of seeing people who call me patriot who only talk about 2020 election. This was for more than the 2020 election. This was more than the 2020 presidential election. This was for every election, from your local government to your state government to the federal government to tribal government, all over the world. That's why they showed Brazilians in the street in 2020 in their election what Americans were supposed to be doing. Oh no. We had to have the other world, the rest of the world, show Americans how Americans are supposed to act. That's why you should feel guilty And you should feel that way. Because we had to see the rest of the world who wants to be America show us how we're supposed to look. What a disgrace. What an atrocity. And they're rooting for you all over the world. I have more people following who message me from all over the world rooting. Why can't Americans see? Why can't they see? Because Americans don't care. Majority of Americans are lazy and do not care.
We're lazy and don't care.
Do it. They want
and we don't know which branch is which branch. No one knows the branches.
Who are passionate. Well, you know all about it, hot shot. Why don't you take care of it? That's the typical attitude that we all face. And if you don't like my attitude, then you don't understand passion, and you don't understand the love of your country, the love of your fellow man. Then you don't understand that. And we, the real patriots, we want people here who do. So if you don't, then we need to get you a first-class ticket to you-know-what out of here, and we're going to bring the people here that want to be here for the right reasons. We don't care what color they are. Has nothing to do with color, nationality, ethnicity.
Is he trying to sneak in illegal immigrants?
It has nothing to do with that. If they want to be in...
Wait a second. So if the Democrats are bringing people here that agree with them and vote with them, and you're like, that's horrible, but you're ready to go grab people from wherever that agree with you and would vote with you, that makes sense.
American for all the right reasons, we want them here. If you don't want to be an American, then you need to get the you-know-what out. It's not that difficult. You can leave. You can go. You have options. They don't have options. You have options. Leave. Come on, Penelope. Leave. Come on, Karen. Go. You have options. They don't. That executive order negates. It cancels out everything. Because what the deep state have always done, they've made you think that it's a checks and balance system in place. It's not. That's why the swing states have always been different. That's why certain seats have always been stolen. They move them. They swap here, here, and here. It's the deep state doing it. It's not anybody else. It's the deep state doing it. The rhinos. And it's a lot more rhino Republicans than the liberal Democrats. But hey, the rhino Republicans are just as guilty. So we have a lot of Republicans out there, and I'm gonna
get rid of them. Get them out.
Best I can. I'm trying to work on my slang, just because. But like President Trump said, when his advisor told him not to say something to the Republicans, he said, I don't give a you-know-what that they're a Republican. That's ever more reason why they should know what's going on. We have a lot of Republicans by title who have no clue what's going on. Oh, just because you're a Republican, you're supposed to be, no, you're not. If you don't know the laws and the orders in place, and especially if you jump ship on 45, no, you're not. You're not a patriot by our standards. You better start.
By our standards. They get to decide who's a patriot now. Are you fucking crazy?
You're not going to be in the seat you're in for long. I guarantee you that.
You know, the other side gets to decide who they think patriots are, too. Like, the word now has some negative connotation to it because you are fucking idiots. But they might think a patriot is someone who stands up for women's rights, or someone who stands up and is anti-war, or someone who stands up and reveals a story that they could be fucking murdered over because it has to do with somebody in power.
You're going to be rooted out. We're going to make sure that one line, alter the...
You can't be in my patriot team.
It wasn't anybody else. The or vote tabulation. You got to take the word altered and put with vote tabulation. Altered vote tabulation. Guess what day that is? Vote tabulation. It is a state electoral count votes. That's your counting. That's the confirmation of the states. That's January the 6th. Altered vote tabulation. Way back here, September the 12th, 2018. This executive order with a national emergency way back here cancels out what happened. Way back here, September the 12th, 2018, canceled out what happened on January the 6th, 2021. If everybody would read it and understand what a national emergency is in executive order and when it was written, that canceled out what happened on January the 6th. What happened on January the 6th, all the sleepy, normie Americans who don't know laws and orders, who don't know what's in place right now, like today, once again, anybody who gravitates towards drama...
How can you be sleepy and on fire?
And they don't know the laws and orders. Well, they got to keep following the drama because they don't know the laws and orders. So January the 6th was for all...
Flies an American flag instead of a Trump flag. Yeah, I don't think you get patriot if you're flying a flag with a person, any person. You can't be, I'm here for America. Oh, that's my Trump flag. That's my Biden flag. That's my Kennedy flag. Sounds like you're here for a person you like.
All the normies, for all the drama field people who don't know the laws and orders in place, they're not pulling...
Remember way back before Trump was ever elected, and we were talking about the potential issues you have with populist candidates. Everybody's like, it's crazy. It'll be fine. Let him run. Let him run. And now we're like, Gatorade, it's good for the plants. It's got electrolytes.
Their weight. They're not doing their obligation as an American. We the people means we the government. We're the government, not the Congress. They work for us. Our founders started a war on taxation without representation. Our founders started a war. Hear that again. Our founders started a war because they wanted representation. And they fought and they earned their independence where they could establish representation. Now we're in a war with...
No, they fought a war because they were being taxed without being represented in the government they were already in. So they started their own. They didn't get the representation that they were talking about when they were mad about it, because they never got represented in the British Crown.
Representation, because representation hasn't been represented to people like we're supposed to, because the people don't even know what the laws and orders are supposed to look like, because the people don't even know that they're the government. The people don't even know their own Declaration of Independence. So you better not be celebrating July the 4th coming up. You better not be celebrating July the 4th if you don't know what the heck the Declaration of Independence says, what it means, what it was established for, and what it gives us the right.
Now we can't even celebrate the 4th of July.
Power to do when a government becomes tyrannical. We have the what? It said it is their right, it is their duty to overthrow.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Derek. I already bought 84 gallons of baby oil, so I don't know what the fuck you want me to do with it. But if I can't celebrate July 4th, we're gonna have an issue.
Such government that goes against its foundation. And we have people who don't even know what it gives us the authority to do. So when you read this order back here, way back here, it cancels out J the 6th. Because every single one of you witnessed history on January the 6th, 2021. You already witnessed history. There were 2 objections. 2 objections in the Arizona state count. 2 objections. They were supposed to hit the gavel, stop the count, and go into a special chamber. And however long it took, matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up right now. We're going to pull it up. We're just going to
pull it up. But pull it up right now. Right now.
You're just going to have to bear with me. This may be a long video, but people got to hear it.
Got to hear it, guys.
Congress shall be in session.
By the way, he started off his video by saying the people who do long videos or ask you to come and watch every day, they're full of shit because I gave everything you would ever need to know in an hour and a half.
On the 6th day of January, succeeding every meeting of the electors. The Senate and the House of Representatives shall meet in the hall.
You better not celebrate Christmas. Unless you know that was baby Trump born in that manger. Better not celebrate Christmas.
All of the House of Representatives at the hour of 1 o'clock in the afternoon on that day, and the President of the Senate shall be their presiding officer. B, the letter B, powers of the President of Senate. Ministerial in nature. Except as otherwise provided in this chapter, the role of the President of the Senate while presiding over the joint session shall be limited to performing solely ministerial duties. 2, powers explicitly denied. The President of the Senate shall have no power to solely determine, accept, reject, or otherwise adjudicate or resolve disputes over the proper certificate of ascertainment of appointment of electors, the validity of electors, or the votes of electors. I'm already 10 feet over most people's head right now because they don't even know what that means.
Okay.
So
that means he doesn't know what it means.
We're gonna go on down. Let's go on down.
We're just gonna skip some stuff because that was a little deep right there. We're just gonna go on down.
Objections. Let's just get there because you just got to read this on your own. I can read all of it, but we ain't got time for it. Where did it go? Objections. Here we go. Action on certificate. In general, upon the reading of a certificate or paper, the President of the Senate shall call for objections, if any. Requirements for objections or questions. Objections. No objection or question arising in the matter shall be in order unless the objection or question, 1, is made in writing, 2, is signed by at least 1/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn, and 1/5 of the members of the House of Representatives duly chosen and sworn.
They weren't signed by 1/5 of the senators or 1/5 of the representatives. You just said 2 people tried to object.
3, in case of an objection, states clearly and concisely without argument one of the grounds listed under the clause number 2. Clause number 2. Grounds for objections. The only grounds for objections shall be as follows. The electors of a state were not lawfully certified under a certificate of ascertainment of appointment of electors according to section 5A1.
Every slate of electors were lawfully selected, every one of them.
The vote of 1 or more electors has not been regularly given.
All the electors' votes had been regularly given, right? So right now he's invalidating his whole, anything he's going to say after this. It wasn't signed by 1/5 of the senators. It wasn't signed by 1/5 of the representatives. Every slate of electors was legally selected, and all of them cast their votes.
Considerations of objections and questions. Here's what was supposed to happen on the day of January the 6th.
None of those were valid objections, so it doesn't matter. It says objections are only valid here. Here's how you consider objections, but if they're not valid objections, who gives a fuck? If I would have went in there and said, I think Cool Ranch Doritos are the best, you think they would have stopped and had a conference?
6, everybody witnessed 2 objections take place. They were supposed to stop the count on the state of Arizona. Stop vote. Stop. Right there. In general, when all objections so made to any vote or paper from a state or other question arising in the matter shall have been received and read, the Senate shall thereupon withdraw, and such objections and questions shall be submitted to the Senate for its decision. And the Speaker of the House Speaker of the House of Representatives, let me clarify, in like manner submit such objections and questions to the House of Representatives for its decision. Determination. No objection or any other question arising in the matter may be sustained unless objection or question is sustained by separate concurrent votes of each House.
They didn't have a fifth, and they didn't have there was no illegal electors there. The electors duly cast their vote. Trump's actually in trouble. The Trump and Trump campaign people are actually in trouble for making fake electors that were not authorized by the states.
Reconvening. When the two houses have voted, they shall immediately again meet, and the presiding officer shall then announce the decision of the questions submitted. No vote or paper from any other state shall be accepted until the objections previously made to any vote or paper from any state, Arizona, and other questions arising in the matter shall have been finally disposed of. You did not witness that. None of you witnessed that. You heard two objections, and conveniently, when you heard the two objections, you saw Pelosi's face, Drunk Losi, Nancy Drunk Losi. You saw her looking like the biggest pallet of Jack Daniels whiskey just rolled in to the floor. Her face got big, and it looked like that. And then all of a sudden, the quote-unquote insurrection took place.
So that's what she did. She made.
Then, when the dust settled,
she called and said, "Get in here, boys! Insurrect!"
It was all planned and a good plan. It was all a good plan. When the dust settled, they came back in and they did what? They rushed right through the votes. They didn't go through the Arizona. Nothing happened with Arizona. They rushed right on through. They went from Arizona to Wyoming, all the way through. You watched Congress on purpose. This was all planned. You watched Congress break 18 United States Code 2381.
Hold on just a second.
Made on our democracy. It cannot, however, deter us from our response. We always knew that we must and we will show to the country and indeed to the world that we will gather as we were sworn in. Justice will evoke the song of the sun. And despite the shameful actions of today, the frequently accurate to which we have.
I was here on 9/11. Madam Speaker, it is a sad day.
This is after the stuff that happened, and everybody withdraws their objections, by the way.
4-year history.
This is 2.5 hours of debate on the Arizona Electoral College vote challenge. They've ended up voted 303 to 121 against a Republican objection to Arizona's 11 Electoral College votes that the state certified for President-elect Joe Biden. House leaders also spoke about an attack on the U.S. Capitol earlier that day that led to the building being put on lockdown for several hours. Again, they lost. They voted. They lost.
On earth.
They voted on Arizona objections, and they lost.
Of course.
Most of the people withdrew their objections.
Showed courage, calm.
There's Kevin McCarthy.
But I'm not speaking as a Democrat, nor was he speaking as a Republican. Just a few hours ago, and overturn a presidential election. Debating a step that has never been taken in American history, whether Congress should overrule the voters. We're debating a step that has never been taken in American history, whether Congress should overrule the voters and overturn a presidential election. He went on to say that he supports a strong state-led voting reform. The Constitution, he said, gives us here in Congress a limited role. We cannot simply declare ourselves a national board of elections.
So why did they debate this, Derek? I thought you said they didn't debate this.
And the states,
first of all, they weren't valid objections, but they still debated them.
The courts and the states have all spoken. 5 people said the election of 2000 was over. We didn't agree with them. But Al Gore said, we are a nation of laws. 5 people. Yes, they were members of the Supreme Court, but they were 5 people said the election is over. And I sat on that podium and saw that power transferred to George W. Bush. McConnell went on to say that McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate, overturned by presciently he spoke.
because the commander in repeat as he defend our system.
It's so weird seeing everybody in masks.
We could fix Republicans over the
This is the debate over the Arizona electors.
Does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
I rise for the point of personal privilege to address the House for 5 minutes.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
5 minutes.
This is what Derek Johnson told you didn't happen.
Address what happened in this chamber today.
This happened after the insurrection part, but still.
Destruction and chaos we saw earlier was unacceptable, undemocratic, and un-American. It was the saddest day I've ever had as serving as a woman, tragic institution. We also saw the best of America. And it also, Jason Crow. That moment. There's many times we can get heated.
But they are the right results. Joe Biden has won Arizona. The state Supreme Court, made up entirely of justices appointed by...
Seems weird they're debating that when Derek Johnson said they didn't debate it.
Perfect
Right?
system of government. This is the appropriate place we stand to respectfully and peacefully give voice to the people.
Believe something that simply cannot be. I applaud House leadership of both parties for bringing us back to do our liberty in the pursuit, protect our institutions, tear down statues, erase our history, defund our police through lockdowns. The
acts, among other issues, were unlawful and unconstitutional. Congress has the duty to defend the Constitution.
Your soul will stay with you for the rest of your life. You owe it to democracy.
And it ended up losing 303 to 121, by the way, when they finally voted on whether to kick it back to the states and put everything on hold or let Arizona go through.
18 United States Code 2384, 18 United States Code 2385, 20 United States Code, 52 United States Code 2511, and 3 United States Code Section 15. All those were broken right in front of you. So President Trump had already told you in 2020, we have it all. We've called them all. You're watching this in 2021. He's already told you, we have it all. We've called them all. No one could have caught them but me. So why aren't you listening to it? My question once again, why are you all of a sudden acting like an American all of a sudden?
Here's the objection, I think. Hold on, we might actually have it.
The parliamentarians advised me is the only certificate of vote that the state purports to be a return from the state, and that has annexed to it a certificate from an authority of that state purporting to appoint or ascertain electors.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Arizona seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Joseph R. Biden Jr. of the state of Delaware received 11 votes for president, and Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 11 votes for vice president.
They're saying it looks regular. This is the only electors that were submitted. They cast all their votes. This is the valid electors. Everything looks regular. This is all boilerplate shit, but they do it for every
Are there any
state.
objections to counting the certificate of vote of the state of Arizona that the teller is verified appears to be regular in form and authentic?
Mr. Vice President, I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is.
There's the objection.
An objection presented in writing and signed by both a representative and a senator complies with the law. Chapter 1 of Title 3 of the United States Code. The clerk will report the objection.
Everybody knew this was coming. Ted Cruz said that he would be part of it before. Like this wasn't new. Everybody knew they was going to object to Arizona and maybe some more. But after the insurrection happened, a lot of people pulled their support quickly.
Objection to counting the electoral vote of the state of Arizona. We, a member of the House of Representatives and a United States Senator, object to the counting of the electoral votes of the state of Arizona on the ground that they were not, under all of the known circumstances, regularly given.
Are there further objections to the certificates from the state of Arizona? The chair hears none. The two houses will withdraw from joint session. Each house will deliberate separately on the pending...
Wait. What are they going to do? Derek, no. What are they going to do?
The chair hears none. The two houses will withdraw from joint session. Each house will deliberate separately on the pending objection and report its decision back to the joint session. The Senate will now retire to its chamber.
Oh, my goodness, Derek. Now, what did you say they did?
Why aren't you listening to him? He's the one telling you all this. I'm just taking on his mouth the manner shall have from any.
The reason it wasn't signed by 5 and signed by 5 is because it only needs one signature from each.
Other state shall be accepted upon until the objections previously made to any vote or paper from any state, Arizona, and other questions arising in the matter shall have been finally disposed of. You did not witness that. None of you witnessed that. You heard 2 objections, and conveniently, when you heard the 2 objections, you saw Pelosi's face, Drunk Pelosi, Nancy Drunk Pelosi. You saw her looking like the biggest The biggest pallet of Jack Daniels whiskey just rolled in to the floor. Her face got big, and it looked like that. And then all of a sudden, the quote-unquote insurrection took place.
Did it? Is that what we're seeing? Seems like they retired to their houses to do their thing, and then an insurrection did happen, but they did their part, 100%. We can even go back, and the last clip that I just showed you is them arguing it. I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. Arguing. I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing when the insurrection happened. Ted Cruz formally made an objection. The House and Senate will now participate in more than 2 hours of debate on Arizona. Several House Republicans and dozens of senators have announced plans to object to different individual states. There, I've heard has virtually no chance. Mike Pence is in a ceremonial role, basically. Does not believe he had the power to reject electoral votes unilaterally. Trump had publicly pressured by the Senate, blah, blah, blah. We're debating that step has never been taken. Members of Congress, McConnell argued, cannot simply declare ourselves National Board of Election on steroids. I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. I'm trying to find somebody that validates that. After riot, House debate on House debate on Arizona objection has ended and voting has started. That was at 10:35 p.m., so that's after they come back. These are the 6 GOP senators who voted to sustain the objection against Arizona's electoral votes. That was Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Cindy Hyde-Smith, Roger Marshall, John Kennedy, and Tommy Tuberville. Here's why voting on objections takes longer in the House. Safety precautions put in place to protect members of Congress amid the pandemic are likely to add even more time to the electoral college vote process tonight. The whole process is already delayed tonight after the riots. The Senate just rejected an objection to Arizona's electoral vote. Here's what happens next. Senate rejects objection to Arizona electoral vote. Senator Lindsey Graham says, count me out. Enough is enough. GOP rep Tom Reed crosses the aisle to object to Arizona electoral vote challenges. Sean Hawley condemns Capitol riot while objecting to Pennsylvania vote. Sean Hawley will still object to Pennsylvania vote. House Judiciary Committee Democrats urge Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. Romney calls Capitol riot an insurrection incited by the president. Trump told people he banned Pence's chief of staff from the West Wing. Some cabinet members holding preliminary talks about invoking the 25th Amendment. Justice will be done for those who desecrated the Capitol. We brought this hell upon ourselves, says Booker. Growing number of Republicans say they believe Trump should be removed from office. These 3 White House aides are considering resigning following today's Capitol violence. I'm trying to get back before. Another senior East Wing staffer resigns following today's riots. This is like a play-by-play thing, by the way. But this is all late. It's all at 9 o'clock at night. So let's see what happens before the riot kicks off. I'm scrolling. Hold on. General Mattis came out against Trump. That was a pretty rough look. Pence has returned to the Senate building. Congressman who was inside the Capitol during riots says extremism in the U.S. is a true problem. Melania's chief of staff resigns. Here's what we know so far about tonight's electoral college vote. House Republicans whip Steve Scalise outlined how he expects the electoral college vote count will move forward and message GOP lawmakers. The House will resume its debate. That's still after. Locks Trump's account for 12 hours. Cleaned for a session tonight. Republican Congresswoman says she'll reverse position on challenging now. That was Kathy Rogers. There's so many that have to do with the insurrection shit. Crowds dwindle. I want to see what the timeline is with this. Hold on. But it's going to be a minute. I'm still scrolling. There's just so much stuff with the riot that it's buried. I'm back to 5 p.m. At least 2 really explosive devices. George Washington University. And the Capitol mob on TV. Shit was pretty wild, though. Police in riot gear. Rioters cleared. Damn, I'm still at the rioters cleared. There's so much here. Jesus fucking Christ. Duck under their chairs. There's a lot of good play-by-play, though. Okay. Congresswoman says she... Oh, no, it's still evacuated. Damn it. Police are evacuating. After Pence formalized his position, letter to Congress, Trump continues pressure. Okay, maybe this is it. Trump says, I'm not hearing good stories. Pence wrote to members of Congress saying his might consider judgment. Trump acknowledged Pence was not likely to follow his demands. Congress retires. So at 1:51, Congress retires to House and Senate chambers to debate objection to Arizona's electoral votes. That was at 1:51. At 1:44, McConnell says this will be the most important vote I've ever cast. At 2:02, McConnell says no proof before us of illegality on massive scale that would have tipped the entire election in Arizona. Then at 3:31, so an hour and a half, 2 hours after they were debating, police are evacuating the House Cannon office building and James Madison building on Capitol Hill. The U.S. Capitol have ordered staff to evacuate House Cannon building and the James Madison building, which is part of the Library of Congress. No further information at this time beyond it's needed due to police activity per multiple sources. USCP sent an alert to staff to alert about a suspicious package. So that's when they found the explosives or whatever, or potentially explosives. McConnell says at 1:52 p.m., if we overrule voters, it would damage our republic forever. So they're still debating. McConnell at 1:47, if election were overturned due to mere allegations, our democracy would enter a death spiral. Schumer, on Republicans objecting to electoral votes, he says they will lose. They know that. McConnell, Senate has higher calling than an endless spiral of partisan vengeance. Schumer, a peaceful transition of power is extolled by children in the second grade, but not by some here. 5:24 p.m. with no evidence, Senator Cruz objects to Arizona's electoral votes. And then at 3:35, so while they were still debating it, basically, U.S. Capitol on lockdown after escalating situation among demonstrators. That's when they locked down the Capitol. Senator Klobuchar pushes back against GOP arguments. That was at 2:15. So it looks like it started like at 3 maybe. Congresswoman says she evacuated her office as pro-Trump demonstrators protest the Capitol. GOP Pennsylvania senators, why are the objectors objecting only to swing states that President Trump lost? That's a good question. Pro-Trump protesters push through the barriers at 3:32 p.m. So, yeah, they were still debating Arizona. The thing that Derek's telling you didn't happen, they were doing that when the insurrection happened. But you didn't see that. Nancy Pelosi got a pallet of Jack Daniels.
Then when the dust settled on the TV, because no one else saw anything else, because it was all planned. It was all planned.
I remember I was covering it that day when all this happened. I got banned off fucking D-Live later that night, but it's like a couple days later. But I was covering it. We were watching them debate Arizona.
Plan. It was all good plan. When the dust settled, they came back in and they did what? They rushed right through the votes. They didn't go through the Arizona. Nothing happened with Arizona. They rushed right on through. They went from Arizona to Wyoming.
They voted in their separate chambers, and Arizona lost.
All the way through. You watched Congress.
He's factually lying. You can go look this up. He's always talking about how people won't look it up, so he has to do it for them. Nobody knows. Nobody looks. Nobody reads. He's lying. They did the Arizona thing. They voted on the Arizona thing. That happened.
Plan. You watched Congress break 18 United States Code 2381, 18 United States Code 2384, 18 United States Code 2385, 20 United States Code, 52 United States Code 2511, and 3 United States Code Section 15. All those were broken right in front of you. So President Trump already told you in 2020, we have it all. We've called them all. You're watching this in 2021. He's already told you, we have it all. We've called them all. No one could have caught them but me. So why aren't you listening?
No one could have caught them but me. Thank you, Derek Johnson. Guys, I got a headache, and he's making it worse. I'm out of here early tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, the support. We had a couple donations come in. Appreciate that. I'm out of here. If somebody wants to watch the rest of this, tell me if there's anything interesting. I'll go back over it. But I got a headache tonight. I need to get some extra sleep, probably. I was up most of the night last night. But thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see everybody tomorrow. We'll see everybody later. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. But I'll see you when I see you. Have a good night, guys.
But I can tell you this.
My head's killing me. He's making it worse.
To see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen.
Have a good night, guys. I'm going to end it kind of early with the outro music, so I'm going to go get some rest. Love you, see you. Bye.
It's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know.